When we think of Rome, we picture fearless soldiers, discipline, and magnificent legions. But there's a lesser-known side to that story, because Rome's great empire wasn't built on courage alone. Let's be realistic, what held Rome upright was debt. Yes, plain old debt. Just think about it, tens of thousands of fearless soldiers. Each one needs food, pay, weapons, travel expenses, and the horses need fodder. That massive war machine was incredibly expensive. All of this required a huge amount of money. In the early days, things were easy. People who owned land would just become soldiers, buy their own weapons, and go off to fight. But as Rome grew, wars got longer and farther away. The I'll go for a year and come back era ended, so they had to switch to a professional army. The state began paying soldiers small wages. Then came the big turning point. Rome turned conquest into a source of income. You conquer new territory, taxes come in, loot comes in, slaves come in, and that finances even more war. War became a self-sustaining cycle, but here's where things get dangerous. Rome didn't run only on taxes, it took on massive debt, especially from the wealthy class. These rich lenders weren't doing the state any favors, of course. In return, they demanded high interest, privileges, and commercial benefits. So at some point, war basically became a business model. Generals began to think more war equals more money. Even senators wanted a share of it. After a while, the economy was entirely built on this. Need money, win a war, need new land, erase the debt, have debt, go to war again. You can guess where this is going. Over time, expenses reached a level Rome could no longer handle. Paying soldiers, war costs, debt repayments. The state was pushed to the brink. The solution? Debasing the currency. They slowly reduced the amount of silver in the denarius. Let's hope no one notices. But of course people did. The currency lost value and inflation rose. What about the very wealthy? They put their money into land, slaves, and gold, solid assets. They found countless ways to avoid taxes, and as always the poor paid the price. Their wages fell, their taxes increased, and public services collapsed. The people were worn down. Rome didn't start to fall because of political or military reasons alone. It was economically bankrupt. Then you look at today. Massive government debts, wars funded by borrowing, money being created without backing, the rich getting richer, the poor earning less and less. The parallels feel familiar. If you ask, what does this have to do with me? Simply this: systems like this eventually destroy themselves. If income doesn't grow, if debts pile up, if war becomes business, the result doesn't change. First the people fall, then trust in the state breaks, then comes conflict. Some called this escaping reality. Today we should call it economic delusion. But at least now you see how things work. Because most people keep their eyes shut. They think inflation is a coincidence. They think taxes are fate. They swallow the idea that debt equals freedom. But Rome's history is crystal clear. An empire doesn't fall because enemy soldiers show up at the gates. It falls because it can't do the math.